My name is Elena. I'm 38 years old. And last month, I signed the final papers that ended my marriage. I want you to really listen to this, not because what I'm about to say is shocking, but because it's painfully common. Nothing exploded, no betrayal, no violence, no secret life, just silence stretched over years.
The date on the paperwork was intentional. February 1st, 2026. My ex-husband, Daniel, asked if we could wait until then so we could finish one last financial year together. It made sense. I agreed. Even at the end, we were still negotiating calmly, still being reasonable, still showing up like adults who once loved each other. That's how disconnected we had become, polite strangers, managing a shared history. Leaving was my choice. I'm a mother to a 5-year-old son. I hadn't worked since the pandemic. I'm a licensed nurse, but I stepped away when we decided to grow our family. Daniel's income covered everything. We were comfortable, secure. From the outside, it looked like success, a stable home, a healthy child, a marriage without drama. And yet, I was slowly disappearing. When my son was born, something shifted inside me that I didn't recognize at first. It wasn't sadness. It was fear. Anxiety wrapped itself around my thoughts and just never let go. I became obsessed with doing everything right. Every schedule, every guideline, every opinion from people who claimed to know better than I did. I stopped trusting my instincts. I stopped sleeping not because my baby cried, but because my mind never shut off. I'd lie awake listening to my own breathing, just waiting for something terrible to happen. Daniel didn't see it. Not because he didn't care, but because he believed his role was clear: provide, show up physically, fix problems when asked. He didn't realize I didn't know how to ask. When I tried, I sounded angry, critical, exhausted. He withdrew. I pushed harder, and somewhere in that cycle, we lost each other completely. It took nearly a year before I felt like a person again. Therapy saved me. Quietly, consistently. Daniel never fully understood what that work did for me, but it kept me alive inside. When my son turned 2, I committed myself to fixing the marriage. I read everything. I compromised endlessly. I attended therapy alone and together. I tried to be softer, clearer, stronger, more patient. For another 2 years, I fought for something that was already gone. And then my body started speaking when my mouth couldn't anymore. Constant illnesses, pain that wouldn't resolve, exhaustion that sleep didn't fix. I realized I was suffocating. There was no intimacy left, only familiarity. We cared for each other the way family members do when the spark is long gone. Safe, kind, empty. Asking for a divorce shattered me. From the outside, it made no sense. Daniel was a good man, a devoted father, financially reliable, respected. But my therapist asked me one question that changed everything. Do you want your child to grow up watching a marriage that feels hollow? Or to parents who chose honesty over appearances? That was it. I didn't want my son to learn that love means distance. That partnership means coexistence. That affection disappears, and you simply endure. We separated 7 months ago, and I can say this without exaggeration. I am lighter than I've been in years. Daniel is too. We co-parent peacefully. We respect each other. Our child is thriving. I'm rebuilding my life from the ground up, unemployed, scared, and starting over at 38. It's not easy, but it's real. The early months were disorienting. Waking up alone, sitting in silence when my son wasn't with me, questioning everything. But then I remembered how lonely it felt lying next to someone who no longer reached for me. That loneliness was heavier than solitude ever could be. I started doing small things again. Walking without an agenda. Reading for pleasure. Sitting in cafes, just observing life. And slowly, I came back to myself. Here's what I need you to understand. You, Don T, need a dramatic reason to leave. You don't need proof of wrongdoing. You don't need permission. Wanting real connection is enough. Staying isn't always brave. Sometimes leaving is the most honest thing you can do. My child deserves a mother who is whole, who chooses herself not out of selfishness, but out of courage. And if you're listening to this and something inside you feels familiar, pay attention. Your unhappiness is not a flaw, it's information. If this story spoke to you, stay here. More stories are coming. And if you have one of your own, share it, because these conversations matter. And so does your life. Thanks for listening.